Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reed-Enever. Welcome back to another Business Skills webinar. This week we get to talk about a topic that I have been wanting to know more about for ages. I have supported crowdfunding campaigns, but I've never really run one, or I've never looked at equity campaigns because it hasn't been something that I've particularly needed to look at. But I'm keen to learn more today from Alan Crabb, who is the founder of what you may know as Pozible. We would know as Pozible. I supported my first Pozible campaign back in 2010 when you launched. It was one of our Family Capers members were getting involved. And now the founder of a new platform called Birchal as well. So Alan is here today to demystify the world of crowdfunding for us and be able to share some amazing knowledge and tips with us around crowdfunding. If you do not have a pen and paper, guys, quickly go grab one, because I think you're going to need to take some notes from today. Alan, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure, yeah. And thanks for inviting me to be a part of it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
I suppose as a quick introduction, I suppose I started Pozible back in 2010. As you mentioned, we launched as the first reward.
Oh, yay! He's
Sorry.
coming back in. That's okay.
Sorry. I don't know.
That's okay. I was wondering if it was my regional internet, but I kept coming in. Gotta laugh.
I'm back. I think it was a disconnection that's on my end. Sorry.
Technology is a lovely thing.
If it was a bad idea to be outside today.
You wanted the nice Melbourne sunny office. Look, as long as it doesn't rain, you've got to be up for a positive. Okay, guys, we are back with Alan Crabb. For those of you who are joining us, Alan is here talking crowdfunding with us today. And if you've not seen it, both, Alan and I both work in the tech space. So I suppose we're sitting here at the moment going, technology, gotta love it when it works for you, love it when it doesn't. So Alan's here talking about crowdfunding with us. Now, Alan, we didn't really get much at all about your introduction, about who you are and what you do. So if we could start with that again, that would be great.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, as I briefly mentioned, I started Pozible back in 2010 as pretty much the first platform in Australia, and also one of the first, I say, globally, as a way to allow individuals and even small businesses actually to raise capital and raise funds for specific projects. And it could even be, for example, a product launch or even an event that you're trying to put together.
Cool.
So that's pretty much how we get into crowdfunding. And over the last 6 years, we've actually hosted, I think, close to 14,000 projects and campaigns.
Wow.
Possible. And I think the recent tally I've seen for Pozible in terms of money distributed, we distributed over 61 million Australian.
Yep.
To Australian projects. So the model has been growing pretty phenomenally, actually, over the last probably 4 years.
Wow.
And that has really, I suppose, spurred what's now opened up to pretty much a new industry actually in Australia, and has seen new models, I suppose, be introduced in Australia for the likes of small businesses and commerce to be more accessible to crowdfunding.
Wow.
So that's pretty much a quick introduction. Yeah.
Yay! Now, guys, I asked Alan earlier, but I'll get him to re-explain it now from our point of view of when does crowdfunding actually appeal to a business? So when in a business owner, like we've obviously spoken about Pozible for book launches and creative events and that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. Maybe I should actually look at doing it for the next book. But when is crowdfunding one of those things that a business can do? And is it accessible to all business owners, or do you need to have a minimum viability before you start?
Yeah, so it can be for any stage of business, and pretty much like you need to think first, I think, of the model of crowdfunding. So most recently, equity crowdfunding has opened up and been legislated in Australia. So from the end of last year, from the end of September last year, the laws came into effect. It allows small companies, startups to access investment through this as a channel. So allowing even investment from as low as $50 as a way to pretty much engage your existing customer base, or even driving up interest.
Okay.
From an early stage of a business. So the key thing, I think, for a small business to consider with crowdfunding is first the model. Pozible is a reward-based platform, so and it's more project-based. So think about it, it's more of a marketing or even a marketing launch for a small business or a product. Equity crowdfunding, equity-based crowdfunding is the investment alternative. So you're selling or you're issuing new shares in your business, and allowing anyone, pretty much any Australian, to invest into that business.
So we had a question yesterday about where do we find investors before I even start business inside the group. So it came, what value does my business have? I'm looking for investors. So it could be good for that member who was asking that question yesterday.
Yeah. So like an investment, generally, I think in Australia, it has been for the last probably few decades that people consider when it comes to raising investment, they go to more sophisticated or high net worths as a channel to get investment. But for particularly consumer-based companies, they should consider, even from the earliest stages, who would be most valuable for the business at the beginning. And generally for a business at the beginning, it's customers and engaging your customers and building a community of people that are really passionate about the product and about the service that you're providing. So asking these people, would they want to I suppose, invite them in to be part of that, and even incentivize your earliest investors into the company by providing them maybe early access to the product, maybe give them discounted product, give them provide them like one-off experiences. All of these things are ways that have typically been done very successfully with reward-based crowdfunding, but it's something that we want to introduce into the investment world. And we think particularly for consumer companies, so companies that are facing, like B2C companies that are facing consumers, having these guys invested into your success, we believe it will actually accelerate the growth of a business, and actually hopefully these businesses will become more successful.
Fantastic. Okay, Alan, I know you've got a few slides to show us and some information, so I'm going to hand over and let you do that now and run us through the key points that you're here to talk to us about today. Guys, if you have any questions about crowdfunding, please ask them within the chat along the way. Alan and I are hopefully happy. Well, Alan's happy to answer them. I'm just going to throw them to him because this is completely new topic to me, being on the running and campaign side of things. He's also popped a document link into our chat box as well, guys. But I'm going to hand over to Alan. He can start showing you some slides and telling you a little bit more about crowdfunding.
Okay, guys, I'm going to share my screen quickly, but you can actually access this platform brief that I put together actually, and what I'm going to present now in the chat. I think I just called it Birchal Brief, to be honest.
That's what you did.
So,
that's it.
So do you see my screen at the moment?
I can see your screen. It's working well.
Okay, excellent. So this is just a quick document, I say, to introduce what Birchal is, because I think small businesses generally resonate. Birchal resonates quicker, I think, for small businesses.
Yeah.
Particularly because I think every small business is looking to grow faster, and to grow faster, you need to raise investment typically. So, as a quick introduction, so Birchal is our equity-based crowdfunding platform.
Yep.
And our real sole purpose actually is allowing everyone the opportunity to invest in the brands that they love. So for most consumer companies, they're building a brand. So and this is the focus for Birchal, especially in the early stages. So using equity crowdfunding to, I suppose, engage anyone that's in your networks, your social networks, your first customers, or even your existing customers into the business. So we've created a platform that allows pretty much brands to connect with investors and vice versa as well. So how do we do this? We profile high growth consumer companies. So we allow companies to showcase what they do. We've created pretty much what most startups use is like a pitch deck.
Yep.
As in the first instance, which is an online page where people can showcase an overview of the business, the product and service that they provide, the business model of how they operate, the industry that they operate in, some of the risks associated with that industry and the business, and the likes of what you typically see in a pitch. And this at the very early stages, we allow these companies to build a following. So the only call to action on this page is to follow the company. So anyone visiting can click the follow button, and then you collect them details as a company. So that just allows you to, I suppose, gauge some demand even from an early stage if there is interest. Second part to this is we provide a company activity feed. Yep. And we may have replicated some of the things that we've seen with LinkedIn with this. So you can include links, you can include photos, pictures, anything that shows traction in the business, and as a way of, I suppose, engaging potential investors more regularly from the very outset. So yep. Raising investment is something you just don't wake up to one morning and say, okay, let's raise investment. It's a bit of a process, and generally.
Do you mean we can't do it today?
Yeah. So we're trying to get people into the habit of thinking well in advance, and actually like thinking about, even on a weekly basis, how they might interact with people that might invest in the company, so that at the point of actually trying to close a raise or to raise an investment round, you have a group of people that are engaged in what you do and hopefully
and they're loving the product.
Are up to date with it. So that's the second part to it. And this is actually quite critical, and we're always tweaking and changing this. This is a bit like our social network for potential investors, you could say. And we made it really easy for people to keep it up to date as well. So every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock, if you have any updates for that prior week, it goes out to all of these people automatically.
Oh, fantastic.
So I talked about briefly the pitch deck. Again, it's a way of I suppose showcasing the company in the best light. But we've also partnered up with quite a few different legal and accounting firms to make sure that you get that right as well. So whenever you're looking to do a raise that you've demonstrated and you've also communicated what exactly you're raising the funds for, and what your objectives and your timeline of activities are with that investment. So the next part of Birchal is introducing time-based campaigns, and this is inspired by what we do with Pozible. Everything with Pozible is campaign-based rather than company or issuer focused. Yep. So we've introduced a series of time-based campaigns to create more urgency around actually getting that interest in for investment. And the first time-based campaign service that we introduced is the expressions of interest. And so before you're actually raising the capital, you're actually going out to pretty much the market and your own connections and audience as a way of asking them politely, in the way of getting them on board quite early. So with expressions of interest, it's simply to speed up that process. Yep. So creating a sort of a marketing campaign around the investment side of things, and even going to the press and saying that you're open for investment and you're closing expressions of interest at a certain time. So that's really as a way to gauge the demand for investment, and also as a way to hopefully put to speed up that process quite a bit as well. So with an expression of interest, we collect details, for example, why they might invest, what kind of investor they are, and also how much they might consider investing, which is all very valuable data, particularly when you're trying to close a round of investment.
Yes.
The second most important time-based campaign is the capital raise itself. And this is a way to, this is a regulated space, actually. This is what ASIC has pretty much regulated with the new legislation. And we comply with that regulations around that. So with an equity raise, you pretty much use a similar process to your expression of interest, but you're pretty much trying to bring that expression of interest and turn it into dollars for the business. This is a bit of a snapshot of what it looks like. This is a bit of a screenshot of what it feels like as well from an investor perspective. So we've made it super simple for retail investors. Retail investors are everyday Australians over 18 that can invest through equity crowdfunding. So they're generally consumers. If you think about people on the street, they're generally they're less sophisticated and maybe less experienced investors. So, but we've tried to make that onboarding process super simple for them to understand, so that if they're investing, they get they understand exactly what they're doing, and we keep that communicated throughout. There's a bit of a timeline going on at the moment with Birchal became a licensed platform on the 11th of January this year, just a few months ago.
Congratulations.
And we recently launched our first equity raise on the platform, and we've got maybe six raises scheduled for the next few months. So
fantastic.
So keep an eye out for what companies are listing, and also learn how they're using it, and learn how they're successful at it as well. Like even test a small investment of $50 just to understand the process.
Give it a shot.
I'm encouraging. Yeah, exactly. There's no better way of learning something by actually doing it yourself. So
now, Alan, you're going to get in trouble with my accounts team today when I go and have a look and go, oh, I might have a play there. Liz is just, it's an awesome concept, a great natural leap from Pozible. She loves that you're complying with the disruption to navigate the complexity of finding investors. So that's a bit of a compliment for you, Alan, coming through.
Nice one, yeah. I like that feedback.
Yeah, that's a lovely one. Look, Alan, I'm even thinking from my point of view, I have clients that have got products, and they've got really good products, and their clients already are the ambassadors. They're the ones that are waiting for that next round of product to come out, the next round of opportunities. So the opportunity to look at driving equity from your product-based business is quite huge. It's quite phenomenally amazing and it is within reach of small business owners to being able to do something like this. And it's with reach of small business owners to get in there and invest in other business owners too, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. This is actually something that's a global sort of phenomenon at the moment for small businesses globally. Actually, Australia's actually quite far behind. Where this is actually in the likes of region or even jurisdictions like the UK, for example. But there's one case study actually, and I generally share this case study to inspire companies into how powerful this model can be actually for a business, particularly a consumer company that is inviting their existing customers or social networks to be involved in the business. And the company to look at as a case study is a company called Brewdog. It's a craft beer company in the UK, and they were actually one of the first actually to be approved to access equity crowdfunding.
Wow!
Even as far back as 2010. So they raised from 1,000 investors just over £1 million for their first round of investment. They're now on their, I think, 7th capital raise. They've just pretty much been capital raising their whole lifetime, to be quite honest. But
well, if it works, it works.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So they've raised, I think, over 83 million Australian dollars, if I convert it. Over the last 7 years, and they've built a business that its current turnover is over $70 million, a profit of £7 million as well. So their current round of investment is valued at £1.2 billion.
Wow.
They've grown in 7 years, pretty much from a valuation of £5 million to 1.2 billion.
Wow.
They've currently 74,000 investors in the business. A tribe of 74,000 investors.
And they're spreading the word for you as well. So it's marketing you can't buy. Word of mouth is huge, guys. So that's awesome. So exactly. I would like to say for any of our members watching, I mean, we've got more content to go, guys, but for any of our members watching this today, the equity crowdfunding is something that we need to look at and consider within our business journey. Now, Alan, my husband's a business coach and watching this, and I reckon it's already ticking over in his head which of his clients he should be looking at using the platform with, which is great because that's what he does. He looks at taking clients out to market, which is great. Beautiful. So there's lots of information coming through, but I'm going to let you continue, Alan, because otherwise I'll tangent us off into different directions all day.
No, that's okay. Can you still see my screen, or do you want me to?
No, we can still see screen.
You can see both of us, yeah. Okay.
Yep, you can see both of us and the screen. Yep.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So just revert back to my screen again. There's the only thing that you should be considering actually, like for different business sizes, you need to first check, I suppose, the eligibility to access this as a regime
Yep.
first.
Perfect.
The screen that I have here, and I've shared with you as well, is some of the prerequisites actually for accessing this new regime as well. So for companies, if you look on the left-hand side, you can raise up to $5 million in 1 year.
Okay.
To qualify for this, you need to be a small company, or in the ATOIs, a small company of less than 25 million assets. And that includes related parties as well. So if you have a billionaire on your share registry and they have a degree of control in the business, it does take you outside of that regime.
Yeah.
So you need to have a turnover less than 25 million, and you need to be at this stage a public unlisted company. So you do need to convert from a PTY to a public unlisted to access this regime. That may change in the next sitting of Parliament. I said that last time, but I said that a few months ago. But it is expected to go through Parliament in the next few months, and we should see it open up to PTY by early September this year as well. So, which means it's open to pretty much everyone. From an investor perspective, investors can only invest, if you're a retail investor, $10,000, and investors generally get a 5-day cooling off period, which is pretty typical. And one thing, I'm not sure if you've covered this previously, but ESIC, early stage innovative company status, for any companies that are eligible, this tax incentive is definitely a nice incentive for investment into the business as well. So
we haven't covered that previously, so something new to most of our listeners today.
I think it's worth checking out actually. Like Birchal is an ASIC ourselves, and we actually got a ruling from the ATO just to confirm it. But it just means that investors into the business can get a 20% tax rebate at the end of the year on that investment.
Worthwhile checking out, guys. Talk to your accountants, your bookkeepers, all of those.
Exactly, yeah.
We can look after you on that one.
Yeah, you're saying the right things, yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Person, Alan, that goes off to a completely different division in here. Take your product to market, not a problem.
That's it. So that's pretty much a basic overview of where equity crowdfunding sits. I think every company, no matter what stage it's at, like you mentioned about what stage your company should be at when they're looking at using equity crowdfunding. Like it can be any stage of the business. Like if, for example, you've got something pretty hot, something pretty on trend, you should actually consider from a very, very early stage about inviting people to be part of that. Generally, if you can pick up press, pick up quite a lot of coverage, why not go out to the market and use this as a way to engage your first investors and potentially your first customers as soon as you open the door. So it's something that we're working to encourage any business to look at. If, for example, we are concerned that maybe you are quite early stage, you have been operating in a while, you've got good traction, but we still might consider you early stage, we will communicate that quite quickly. And we also, with our expression of interest service, we also try to learn at what stage you are at to engage potentially equity crowdfunding and investors as well. So we're pretty knowledgeable in this space. So generally we try to keep it right as best we can, but not take any risks with your business.
As much as anyone else does.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's all we're all or nothing based as well. So we don't make a fee if you're not successful. So,
wow. So that's a good opportunity. Guys, if anyone has any questions for Alan, please pop them into the chat box. Look, Alan, from my point of view, that has been absolutely great to understand the equity point of view of investing within the businesses as well. Now, I do realise that now Melanie spoke to me about having a special offer for our members that might be looking at Birchal and having a chat with you today. Have you got the link details for that one with you?
I'll share the link after after the session. But generally, we're offering, as we mentioned, when it comes to raising a round of investment, we work on an all or nothing basis. But prior to pretty much going out with a raise, we generally take an admin fee that's reimbursed after you're successful, to cover off just a bit about the due diligence and make sure that your offer document is ready to go live. That's a very critical document. It's a regulated document as well, so it takes a bit of time and effort from our point of view to do that. But generally, that costs about $2,000. But we're offering like a half price on the offer document review. So.
Nice.
And again, if you're successful, it doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. So it's worthwhile doing it. But guys, look, when you are looking at doing something like this, it's like when you hire a marketer, you hire a business coach, you hire the people who know what they're talking about. Alan's been in this industry. As I said, I think I supported my first Pozible campaign. It would have been 2010 when one of our members was launching a book. I know, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah,
how long ago that we do that. But the thing is, just bear that in mind. Bear it in mind to talk to the knowledge. And I'm sure Alan and his team will talk to you quite early on in the stage to even say, have a conversation with you about whether this is going to work for you or not. So if you've been thinking about it, touch base with these guys. We don't have any questions. We are nicely wrapped up. Everything was succinctly done today. So I would like to thank you for joining us. Guys, if you do have any questions, the replay will be on the BBB website later on today. The live stream's in the group and it's on the Facebook page. So do come and ask Alan and I any questions that you might have. Next week, you are being joined by, and I can't believe this, it's all come around so quickly. Clive is joining us. So Reed-Enever, the co-founder of Business, is here to talk to you about identifying your ideal clients. We see the question pop up in the group quite continuously about how do I know which client I want to work with, or that members are trying to access 110 clients all at the one time and different client joiners. So next week's webinar is all about identifying your ideal client and knowing who they are so you can save time within your marketing, your PR, your business day-to-day, and your sales process. So if you haven't already registered for that one, register for that one. If you have not seen it, guys, we started the 30 Days of Business tools yesterday. So if you head to the tools section of the website, each day you'll find a new tool or two to help you grow your business. Alan, thanks again for joining us. I look forward to seeing everyone next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.